What's it like in November in the south of Italy? This is what I'm going to be sharing with you today because we have arrived at the final weekend of this month. And so I thought it was the perfect moment to share with you just what life feels like in the month of November here in South Italy. Now, I will say to you that what you can see behind me, this lovely Christmas tree, is a bit of an indication as to what this month actually brings, because November for me is a permission slip for Italian people to start thinking about and talking about Christmas. As I touched on in the October version of this video, I'll link it up here, you will find that the majority of shops start pushing out Christmas from the beginning part of October, and you will see aisle upon aisle stacked high full of Christmas decorations. But they remain pretty much untouched throughout the whole of October until November rolls around. And then in November, it's wild. Everybody's buying their things that they need. The queues in the shops are like out of the door. It's crazy. But you see in October, nobody's interested. And I like that because as I spoke about in last month's video, people here really do appreciate each celebration as it comes before they move on to the next. So people like to get Halloween out of the way at the end of October before they then start talking about Christmas. So that's an interesting observation that I've made year on year here in Italy. Now, I will say that the traditional day for Italians to put up their Christmas tree in particular is the 8th of December. And that is a public holiday here in Italy. And Italian families spend the day together, putting up the tree and kind of, being all together in that moment. But I have noticed that more and more Italian people are breaking tradition every single year. And quite a few people that I know already have their tree up. And there are quite a few Christmas decorations up and lights up in people's homes that I've seen. So I feel like not everybody adheres to this, maybe in the same way that they might have done in the past. I break tradition every year, and this is only because I'm so used to putting up my Christmas tree at the end of November. It would feel really strange for me to wait until December the 8th, only because I really love my Christmas tree and I love making the most of having it up. And for me to put it up just like 2 weeks before Christmas, it feels like it's so late because we all know that once Christmas comes around, after that, everything just kind of loses its magic a little bit. So I like to have my tree up nice and early, but it's interesting to see how many other Italian people are also following suit nowadays as well. Now, during this month, you will also see that the Christmas lights and the Christmas events begin, and it's really, really magical. I have to be honest with you. Luce d'Artista in Salerno, I will link to the video that I filmed up here, is a huge event that takes place every single year, and it begins in November, and it draws crowds from all across Italy, but that's super special. And then you have like local events and local festivals that take place. You even have castles. I saw a castle in the Campania area that has this big Christmas kind of magical wonderland event on every single year. So it's beautiful. Like, it's a really special time of year, absolutely. And Italian people love Christmas. And they also love their food, which is why if you go to the supermarket in the month of November, as you can see in this video, it is stacked high full of Christmas goodies, particularly these Christmas boxes. These Christmas boxes are almost like a tradition to give at Christmas. And you'll find a lot of companies will give these to their staff as their Christmas box. But essentially inside is usually like a bottle of bubbly, panettone or pandoro, and various other kind of Italian delicacies. But these are like really, really popular, which is why the supermarkets are stacked high full of them at this time of year. But you can see all anybody is really starting to think about, especially as we move into the latter part of November, is Christmas. Now, in terms of the weather, I can't tell you that November is a beautiful month because it isn't really. Like, it does depend on where you are in Italy, but this month usually brings with it quite a bit of rain. And even in Palermo, they've had some pretty dire weather this month. And usually Sicily kind of gets it mildly compared to other parts of Italy at this time of year. So it's interesting how the weather is changing. We've just had 2 weeks worth of rain where we live here in the Salerno province. So it's been pretty miserable. Now we have a period of respite where there's going to be some sunshine. And then according to my weather app, the rain will return in the middle part of December. So it's really, really wild, the weather, I have to be honest with you. And it's pretty chilly at this time of year as well, depending on where you are. But a week ago, even in Palermo, it was 11 degrees. And if you know that Palermo at this time of year is never normally 11 degrees. It can be chilly in Palermo and also in Sicily in general, especially in the more open parts, but really 11 degrees. Like, I don't remember it being that cold when I lived there in November. It would start to turn, absolutely. But I think that was pretty chilly for this time of year in Sicily. So this is the weather. This is why it's low season. This is why you don't get many tourists that come here at this time of year, because the weather is not fantastic. But I do think that if you want to experience Italy in its heart and soul, and you are interested in moving to Italy, this is actually the time to come. Because if you can still appreciate Italy, even when it's cold, even when it's raining, even when it's pretty bleak, then you know that this is going to be the country for you. Because if you only ever come and experience life here when it's sunny and when it's mild, of course, that weather is very, very attractive indeed. But if you come here when it's windy, rainy, stormy, and you still like it, I think you found the place that you're going to call home. Absolutely. So it's actually a really nice time to come here, like whether you want to visit Italy or you just want to scope out what it's like to live here, and come here at a time when it feels really real and not packed full of tourists. So that's a good tip for you for this particular month as well, if that's your intention. If you are interested in kind of broadening your knowledge about life here in Italy, my Insider Travel Guide to Salerno, as well as my mindset course on preparing yourself mentally for life here in Italy, are in the Black Friday deals until Monday, the 1st of December. I never normally run any offers on my products. So if you want to get 30% off both of those, I will put the link up here and also below in the show notes. Now, I will say to you that, of course, this month is dominated by sales, especially Black Friday. Now, I'm sitting here recording this on Saturday, so I'm right in the middle of the whole Black Friday weekend. But I have to be honest with you, the Black Friday sales started in a lot of Italian shops on Monday. So we've had this entire week of Black Friday offers. Some shops held out until Friday itself, but a lot of shops began on Monday. So it hasn't really felt like the official Black Friday day ever came, because every single day has been a sale. So to the point where when it's actually Black Friday, you don't really notice because the sales have been ongoing all week. Now, Italian people take this very seriously indeed. You will find that this is the moment when a lot of Italians will buy Christmas presents or things that they've wanted all year, and they've just kind of waited for that moment when they're on sale. But I'll give you an example. Somebody I was talking to the other day went to shop online at Zara here in Italy, and she had a allocated pre-sale slot because they started their sale for, I guess, members or subscribers. I'm not sure what you had to achieve to get this pre-sale, but it was on the Thursday evening. And she selected some items, put them in her shopping cart, and when she was ready to pay and check out, all of the items that she had in her cart had completely sold out in her size. And I was like, that is wild. Like, literally, people treat it like a job. Honestly, Black Friday, they're on a mission. So you can't really escape that kind of consumerism here in Italy at this time of year, absolutely. But November is nice because you have this anticipation for Christmas. You can start to see the magic of Christmas popping up in the lights that go up in the different cities and towns in South Italy. And it just has a nice feel to it. Of course, you've not got great weather. You've got all the kind of Black Friday madness at the end of the month, traffic everywhere, queues in shops. But there's a certain magic about November, and I really do enjoy living here in this month, particularly where I'm living in the Salerno province now, because I've experienced autumn for the first time in a couple of years. Because like I said to you before, Sicily doesn't normally have this distinction. It normally just kind of goes from summer into late summer into winter. So it's been really nice to have cups of tea every day and not feel kind of strange in doing so, but it feel just right in that moment. So there we are. There is November in South Italy. Stay tuned for December's video, because I'll be sharing with you all the festive magic that life here in South Italy can bring you in the month of December. So if you're not yet subscribed, it would mean the world to me if you would hit that subscribe button and be part of this whole journey with me as I share with you the reality of life in Italy and no fantasy. I will see you in the next episode.